enjoy the drive. Everyone's out going to get their turkey, all those cars driving by.
Backyard orb, white, shiny, not sure, roughly northwest angle. Hello and welcome to the program UFO Warning. In this episode, we're talking about UFOs over Arkansas. That's correct, UFOs over Arkansas. Now, I'm just going to read these straight off the reports from News Fork. Sometimes I like to run these through ChatGPT and do a little editing to get the grammar correct. But like all things on the computer, they have to improve the stuff to the point where you can't use it. And recently, ChatGPT has changed their layout to where it's pretty much useless if you're trying to edit multiple reports like this. I don't get it. That's the life that we live in. I say sometimes that these young engineers coming up, they're like a dog that can't resist a fire hydrant. They just can't leave it alone. And that's what I'm finding what happens on the computer. Constantly you find a site that works great, or you find a service that works great, and then somebody has to come along and ruin it. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. Anyway, this is just going to be raw right off the report, the way people read them. So if there's a few mistakes in grammar or I stumble a bit, that's my excuse. Now, it says this duration lasted 15 seconds. Number of observers 2. Locations, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Heading south from Eureka Springs, shape chevron. These are always cool to me. Caller unable to tell. Hard to estimate. Viewed from aircraft. Direction from viewer. A little east of me. Heading south. Angle of elevation 85. Closest distance lower than a commercial jet. Estimated speed faster than anything I've witnessed. Lights on object. Saw a chevron of lights traveling at high speed. No sound or Doppler effect. I saw a chevron of lights traveling south at high speed with no sound or Doppler effect. They were in view maybe 10 to 15 seconds. This is the second time we've seen a chevron UFO here. It was much further away this time. We saw one on 12/18/22 at 12:40 a.m. traveling west, which was very low and huge and moved slower. Yeah, those things were wild. I don't get, there has to be something with the chevron shape. And we've heard this thing so many times, and oftentimes it's associated with these really, really large craft. This one here is from 9/18/2024. It says duration 30 minutes, observers 1, military. Location Conway, Arkansas. Location behind address above and field, changing shape, caller multiple, viewed from land, direction from viewer east, angle of elevation 45, ore or haze around object up the trail, changed color. They've got a picture here. It does look like it's got a trail. It could be a meteorite. I don't know. Let's see what they have to say. It says over Valonia, Arkansas, multiple craft making edge of perception ultra high-speed maneuvering. Okay, that's not a meteorite, I don't think. Early Wednesday morning on September 18th, 2024, 4:43 a.m. Central Standard
How many?
Time.
Just one?
Yeah.
I was out alone in a
So
field.
you're gonna be careful, they're slick.
And
Happy
with
holidays.
the divine. When I decided to pause and document events in the sky, there were flash past streaks with directional changes so quick they existed at the edge perceptual range, then fading just as quickly. I was truly surprised my phone was able to capture such clearly defined images of two UFOs simultaneously in one shot, showing each in different phases of movement. From my perspective, the second photo exhibits structured fireball laminars with Clarkville characteristics of layered vortex features with bottleneck formation, indicating possible pulse drive propulsion principles in practice. The third photo also shows the same bottleneck. However, around this phase of movement, I see field dynamics in play with underlying structural elements displayed in contrast, clearly imaged like monochromatic topography of the object. Well, they've got quite analysis there. The pictures are interesting. We've talked about these things, sometimes camouflaging these meteors or something. That seems to be one of those things that can be candidate for that. This one is 8/12.
Alright.
24 says duration 2 hours, observers 2, Bradford, Arkansas, backyard orb, white shiny, not sure, roughly northwest, angle of elevation 45. Saw approximately 25 orbs hovering in the northwestern sky. The objects would move horizontally and vertically and faded in and out. The objects did not move erratically but seemed to move in a controlled manner. This difference was noticeable from the meteor shower that was taking place simultaneously as weak as a sudden emergency of the aurora. It was strange the objects moved appearing after the Northern Lights appeared. We captured some video and photos. We got some spectacular pictures of the Northern Lights here. Really nice job. I didn't realize it got through in Arkansas like that. That was something. Yeah, I don't know if maybe these things are showing up and feeding off of this, whatever's going on with the Earth's magnetic field there, causing these lights to show up so far south. Here's one that says 7/6/24, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Color whitish shaped light unknown, view from land south, angle of elevation 60, and it's got a little video here, about a minute long video. You kind of see this orb darting around. It's got a night vision. A very cool video. UFO appeared from the south, heading north in Pine Bluff, Arkansas tonight, July 6, 2024. Despite looking like it's moving straight forward, it seems to move erratically and constantly ascend and descend. It got bright before it dimmed. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's weird. Very observant that they picked this thing up.
Ryan Reynolds here from Midwell. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices. To help us, we put on our first auction here, which is
thank you.
we're going to try.
I am. I will be careful. Thanks for watching. Hear me. Enjoy the drive. Some UFO warning broadcast. Hopefully traffic's good.
This guy's he's everyone seeing this video. And it looks like maybe there's a storm down there along. Lightning off in the distance. Very cool video. Really like the effect of this stuff. And then you see this UFO blinking and flashing almost like a sport thing, like going across in the corner. It says the date on this is 33/24. Duration 2 minutes. Number of observers 1. Pilot, aviation expert. Location Genoa, Arkansas. My friend estimates on the northeast edge of the Texas-Arkansas border, flying from South Carolina to DFW. Shaped diamond, color blue, estimated size 30 feet across. View from aircraft, direction from 0 to 30 degrees, angle of elevation 80. Plus this distance, very hard to estimate, maybe 5 miles. Since it kept pace with the plane, probably 350 miles an hour. Lights on object, emitted other objects, aircraft nearby. The blue diamond-shaped object can be seen during the last 1/3 of the video in the very far upper right, rotating in. My friend was on a night flight from North Carolina to DFW, and he estimates this video was taken over the northeast Texas and Arkansas state lines. It is located in the far extreme upper right edge of this video. He looked throughout the inside of the plane cabin and did not notice any other possible light from within the cabin that could be a possible reflection causing this. The diamond-shaped blue object seems to be moving very slowly, rotating end over end, and appears to split into 2 separate objects at the end of the recording. That's a fact. It's strange. Very, very good quality video. I really like that one right there. Texas, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 2/20/24, shaped oval, whitish blue, estimated size, unknown, lights on object, UFO came from the north. I noticed the object from the north around 7:37 on Pine Bluff. Changed direction multiple times and seemed to ascend and descend before it disappeared to the south. The UFO got brighter. There's a good one. Here's another pilot report UFO. It looks like 1724, duration of 3 minutes, number of observers 1 military. Location, Sherwood, Arkansas. Viewed from Little Rock Air Force Base Control Tower, looking west. Shape unknown, color bright white light. Estimated size unknown, viewed from land, direction from viewer. The object was west of my position. Angle of elevation 21, closest distance 10 miles, estimated speed 500 knots. Exclamation. Rocket. Okay. Lights on object or haze. Viewed from Little Rock Air Force Base Control Tower, looking west. Several pilots were talking on emergency frequency about the object. I was alone at work in the air traffic control tower when I heard a pilot ask over the emergency frequency about a bright object. Another pilot responded it was a rocket. I spotted it to the west of my position. A bright white light maybe 10 miles away. It was moving slowly southbound. I checked our radar and saw no indication of an aircraft in that position. It appeared at one point to split out of a cloud in front of it, shaped like a smoke ring, moving through the air with the light following it. The pilots were continuing to talk about it on emergency frequency. After about 3 minutes, it appeared to just fade away. Someone on emergency frequency said it exploded, but I did not see an explosion. I have a pretty clear video of it that amazed my coworker when I showed it to him. Yeah, they do have videos not playing. I don't know, man. You know, here's the thing. They call these things rockets. This puts me to mind of the Chinese lantern situation. Are they all over the place? Who's putting them up? Why couldn't they just make an announcement? They just seem, it almost gets into the situation where like, oh, let's just call them a drone. I don't know about some of these things. This one here is from Rector, Arkansas. It says date 1724, approximately 69 seconds, Highway 90, Highway 49, south of city limits, shape unknown, bright to hazy, estimated size unknown, viewed from land. Direction from viewer northwest, angle of elevation 30, closest distance 1 mile, speed unknown. Object moved right to the left. On routine patrol at Rector city limits, observed object in the sky northwest of my position. What drew my attention was the size in the sky. This is the same area of our tiny municipal airport. I could not see navigation lights or landing takeoff lights, nor could I make out any normal aircraft design features such as wings or rudders or rotors. I started photographing as object moved right to left, southwest, and was tracking horizontal to the horizon from my viewing point. It appeared to have a ball shape at one point. When I took the last photo, I attempted to step out of the patrol unit for a video, but it was no longer visible. No sound that I can tell. I'm 52 and a veteran. I'm employed as a part-time patrolman with the Rector Police Department. I am an aviation enthusiast and know many configurations of aircraft and helicopters. I am not prone to jumping to conclusions or mistaking what I see. I was on duty at the time of observation. It's weird, man. It's like a big white orbish cloud there. I think it's enormous. I don't know what this thing is. Cool picture. Definitely not a drone, I can tell you that. Wild stuff. There's one from Mayflower, Arkansas. It says 1724, duration 1 to 2 minutes, Mayflower, Arkansas. Color whitish blue shaped orb. When viewed at arm's length, it was about 20 size from land. Pretty good size. Direction from viewer southwest, angle of elevation 45. Closest distance maybe 3 to 5 miles. Slow but steady, maybe moderate speed. Emitted other objects. A bright ball of light that shot what looked like a white smoke ring out of the front of the ball of light. I was leaving my second job, and as I walked out the back door, it had already gotten dark. So I quickly noticed a bright ball of light in the sky, a few miles off the distance. The ball of light was slowly moving parallel with the ground from my right to left. I'm guessing maybe a mile or two above the ground. Heard no sounds whatsoever. Quickly got my cell phone out and started to record it on video. It was about 10 seconds or so after I started recording that the ball of light suddenly shot out what looked like a white smoke ring in front of it, and as the ring started to grow in diameter, the ball of light traveled through the smoke ring. Wow. And then slowly started to dissipate and get dimmer to then maybe 30-second total after it started to dissipate, it just disappeared and was completely gone. Well, they're claiming this was another rocket launch. I don't know. Weird stuff. I don't know. I read some of these off. I guess you have to make up your own mind. If they're far enough south, maybe they're seeing more of those things than some of the people in the north are. Here's one from Little Rock, Arkansas. It says 12/16/23. Observers 2 pilot, location Little Rock, Arkansas, about 200 miles southeast of Little Rock, Arkansas at 32,000 feet. It's another plane video, or plane report. Shape, white, color white, estimated size unidentified. Viewed from aircraft. Direction from viewer 250 to 279. Angle of elevation 40, closest distance 250 nautical miles. Mach 5 for speed. Lights on object. 5 lights moving rapidly and changing direction. I was a pilot flying to Little Rock, Arkansas at 32,000 feet. My first officer had told me earlier that he had seen strange dancing lights to the west on every night flight beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. At about 11:45 Eastern Time, we began seeing multiple lights due west at extreme altitudes. They appeared to be tracking south at extreme speeds and altitudes in excess of 100,000 feet. I estimate the speed to be somewhere beyond Mach 5, but it is difficult to estimate accuracy given the unknown range. Visibility was unlimited, and I estimate the objects to be around 300 miles to the west. 2 of the objects appear to be following each other, greatly varying their speed and course. They appear to be able to stop and change direction, sometimes abruptly switching from a southerly track to a northeasterly track. There were 5 objects in total, with up to 4 seen at one time. One of the objects was at a much higher altitude or much closer range. They varied in brightness up to the point of being the brightest objects in the sky for brief periods. This continued until we arrived in Little Rock. These objects are appearing with extreme regularity beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern and are a widely discussed phenomenon in the radios as of the last few months. That gives you some insight to what's actually happening out there. These pilots are seeing them and they're talking about that. Man, that is really something. There's one from 10/16/23. It says duration approximately 10 seconds. Number of observers 1. Location Arkansas. Over Arkansas or western Tennessee. Shape cylinder. Lower altitude flyby of Allegiant Flight 3145 on 180 flight trajectory. I was seated in seat 4A window seat on Allegiant Flight 3145, an Airbus 320 aircraft that was at 34,000 feet cruise altitude at 450 knots, as related by the piloting aircrew. As I glanced out the window, I witnessed an oblong, cylindrical, wingless object at an estimated 15 to 20,000 foot altitude. This object was on a course parallel to Flight 3145, but on a 180-degree trajectory. Allegiant Flight 3145 was out of Austin Bergstrom International Airport, Texas, with the destination of McLean Tyson Airport, Knoxville, Tennessee. The object was visible for an estimated 10 seconds off the port side, below, and disappeared aft. At the completion of my flight, I spoke to one of the pilots after I identified myself with identification and asked if they had a radar contact at this estimated altitude of 058 CT during the flight. This pilot stated the flight crew had not had a radar contact at that time. I asked if this observation was reportable to the FAA, and he stated that it was. A check of the FAA website referred me to your site after a second search. The object was completely white, cylindrical, without lights, and without wings. Estimated size was comparable to an airliner. Weather was scattered clouds, and the object was above cloud level. My professional background is that of a paramedic with 34 years experience as both paid and volunteer. You can just imagine there being an airplane sitting on the outside of this giant cylindrical shaped UFO. That is really cool. I'll do a couple more here and we'll wrap this up. This is from Hot Springs, Arkansas. It says dated 10/11/23. Shaped cigar, color white, future lamp, angle of elevation 45. Possible drone, they think. Characteristics says it did make a sound. No visible wings, moving slow, and odd sound. I know this sounds crazy, but something told me to go outside and look up. When I did, I saw the object moving steady through the sky. Faint kind of sound like wind tunnel followed it. It has to be some type of drone or something. No, it doesn't have to be. It can be a UFO. Rather large because it was high up. Just odd. Figured something common since it was broad daylight and clearly visible. Doesn't sound like anything common to me. I've been seeing many moving solid lights at night, bright white, that were going fast and many times just disappear. My doorbell cam has picked up weird light at night as well. I've also seen a streak of bright light that seemed to flash or burst through the sky, then disappeared like a hole open in the sky. I've been seeing things in Benton, the Hot Springs area, 6 months. That's when I actually started viewing the sky. Here's a person that's starting to get nudged off their normalcy bias a little bit and starting to say, man, something really has gone on. Take a look at one more. This one here says 5/19/2023 observes on the objects emitted by other objects change color, animals reacted. Huge spaceship floating over the car. This place since I was 16 years old. I have never seen anything of the sorts here. My fiance and I drive this road at least one time every good days. We'll drive it maybe 2 to 3 times a day. It's a familiar road to them. It's my favorite place. Tonight we had an amazing lightning storm, which we don't normally get. I decided to go later in the night since my kid was staying with my cousin. It was 11 when we turned down NCTR and went over the train tracks. I immediately noticed a star in the sky and announced to my fiance that was weird, being as the sky was so cloudy from the storm. He started to pay attention to it more at this point. He says, "Did that just move?" I told him I didn't know. I couldn't see it from the windshield. He said, "Holy expletive, it did move. It changed from a 1-star looking light, then it spread apart into 3-star looking lights with 3 red lights in the tips of the triangle at the bottom of the ship," my fiance said. "Look out the window. I got the steering wheel." I did a quick head tilt to the left of my window and I saw 2 white lights with a red light flashing between the white one. I stated, "That's just a tower, baby." Immediately, I realized there was no tower in the field. There's actually a pond down in the valley, right in that area, and it is now open. Almost all the trees have been cut to where you can see down the pond. Once again, 5 seconds go by, and my fiance is grabbing the wheel again, telling me to look out my window, that I wouldn't believe what I was fixing to see, that he thought it didn't look right when I was going to visit the texture of the ship. It looked shiny, but gooey, like if you were to touch it, slime would be stuck in your mouth. And it was most definitely a black vessel. It was as low as the trees. I'd say only 100 feet above my car. I felt immediate danger. It took off. Keep in mind, the speed limit is 45 on this road, and yes, if my daughter isn't in the car, I ride 5 over, so I was going 50 miles per hour. I sped to the river and just sat there for a few seconds, trying to get the courage up to drive back down the road to get out of NCTR to come back home for the night. It was exactly 11:22 when I looked out my window and the ship was above my car. Did I mention there was no sound? It was just hovering silently. No wind from it, no sound waves after I took off, nothing. There was a car behind me at the same time, but I'm not sure if they saw it. They kept going. I assume they lived down there somewhere. They were going just as fast as I was. I hit 70 miles per hour trying to get somewhere safe, trying to turn around. I was so excited at first, then my body just told me to run. We finally talked ourselves back up to leave. I called my mom as soon as I got service and made her stay on the phone with us because we were freaking out the whole time trying to see where it went. We never found it. It was gone by the time we made it back down the road. That confirmed it was not a tower. I realized afterward I had never heard one cricket the whole time I was down the road, which is extremely not normal. Wow, that's an amazing account to be out there driving with a boyfriend and look up and see this giant triangle UFO just perched over your car. I could see why a person might get a little bit sense of heightened awareness at that point. Well, some great sightings out of Arkansas. People are really seeing stuff and they're really reporting it. Until next time, this is UFO Warning.
Ryan Reynolds here from Midwell. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. I'm going to get 30, 30, going to get 30, going to get 20, 20, 20, going to get 20, 20, going to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month. So
Give it a try at midmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Is your cold making it hard for you to get to sleep and leading to a bad morning? Switch to Mucinex Night Shift for fast, powerful, nighttime, multi-symptom cold and flu relief. Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst nighttime symptoms to help you get to sleep and wake up ready to go. Mucinex Night Shift. It's comeback season. As is directed.
Jeez, buzz.
Hello and welcome to the program, UFO Warning. In this episode, we're talking about the allegation alien abduction. That's correct, the allegation alien abduction, also known as the Allegation Waterway Incident. In August 1976, 4 friends, Jim Weiner, Jack Weiner, Charlie Foltz, Chuck Rack, embarked on a camping trip to the Allegation Wilderness Waterway in Maine. One night, they decided to go night fishing when they spotted a bright light in the sky. The light approached them rapidly, and their next memory was being back on the shore with no recollection of how they got there. Years later, the 4 men independently underwent hypnosis and recalled being taken aboard a craft where experiments were performed on them. They described the beings as having large, almost almond-shaped eyes and thin, gray bodies. The consistency of their memories corroborated details made the allegation incident one of the most discussed abduction cases in recent history. Let's go ahead and take a look at this first article. This first article is from Unsolved.com, the Unsolved Mysteries series. It's a really fun series, I think. It says allegation abductees, 4 men camping in Maine, believe they were abducted by aliens. It's got a picture of this area and talk about remote. And it's also got a picture of the guys. It says 4 men, Jack Weiner, Jim Weiner, Chuck Rack, and Charlie Foltz, say they experienced a terrifying encounter with aliens while camping in the Maine wilderness. It's taken the men years to go public. Each has been polygraphed and hypnotized, and their stories hold up. For years, Jack Weiner was disturbed by recurring nightmares. He told no one about them except for his wife Mary. I was starting to have nightmares, really terrible nightmares that I could not explain. I found myself in a very brightly lit room. I had no idea where I was or why I was there. To my left, I could see my brother Jim. Chuck Rack and Charlie Foltz were sitting on some type of bench, and they were all naked. I was wondering why they weren't helping me because I felt like I was in danger. And while I'm trying to figure this out, I noticed this figure, or a dark, shadowy type figure, emerging from this light. This bright light in front of me. I would wake up, sweating and breathing heavily, and just in a state of terror and shock. Man, that's quite a memory. I mean, just imagine. I mean, I can't imagine being abducted by one of these things, by these, I guess, multiple things. And they've got these 4 guys on this craft. They're naked. They're all kind of in a trance, and this guy's just held there basically against his will, scared out of his mind. And now he's having these recurring nightmares. What's cool also in this first paragraph we're looking at, and then we'll get along here, is the fact that they all passed a polygraph test. Now, you could say, well, they had implanted memories in them, but still, 4 of them. It says, in 1988, Jack's twin brother, Jim, confessed that he too was haunted by exactly the same nightmares. There were always certain elements of the dream that were the same. Some type of creature, being helpless, being violated, was a feeling I often woke up with. In every dream, the twins were with Charlie Foltz and Chuck Rack, two friends they had met at school. They wondered if these nightmares could be connected to a camping trip 4 years earlier in Maine. In August 1976, the four men had spent 2 weeks in Maine's Allagash Wilderness. The Allagash covers thousands of acres in the northernmost part of the state. On the second night out, Jim noticed a bright object in the sky. It was just floating above the treetops. Didn't seem to be moving in any direction, and I looked at it through the binoculars for maybe 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and it suddenly just winked out from the outside edges inward. I mean, it literally just went whoosh like that, and it was gone. There was something about this thing that left me with an odd feeling that wasn't quite right, but I really didn't dwell on it. Now, this idea of these UFOs just blinking out, this is something here all the time in these reports on Newfork and that. People see them, just zoom out. And we've seen them on videos doing this over and over again. It says the men continued through the Allagash Wilderness. On the fourth day, they decided to try some night fishing. They built a bonfire to mark their campsite. Once out on the water, Chuck Rack was the first to realize they weren't alone. I had a feeling there was someone staring at me from behind me. I turned over my right shoulder like that, and I saw this large round globe of light that looked exactly like we had seen 2 nights previously. It had this rolling effect to it, like a miniature sun, very, very bright. It lit up the treetops like daylight, and it was absolutely silent. That's Jeff Weiner. After looking at it for what seemed like several moments, we decided to signal this thing. That's when Charlie picked up the flashlight and squeezed off a message, SOS, Chuck Rack. So many times we hear about people shining flashlights at these things, and a lot of times it does not work out very well. I would not recommend it. It says the response was instantaneous. Well, when the light started coming toward us, my curiosity was satisfied, and I just dropped the flashlight. The only thought in my mind was to get to shore. I never looked back, Charlie Foltz. The men began paddling back to shore. I remember looking over my shoulder, trying to keep an eye on this object as it was coming up behind us. It was getting very close. It was almost on top of us at this point. I remember thinking that we're not going to outrun this thing, said Jack. Their next memory was being back on shore, just staring up at the bright object. I remember thinking I could pick up a stone and bounce it off this thing's side. That's how close it was. And then, all of a sudden, it just streaked away, very, very fast. And within a few seconds, it was like a star, just another light in the sky. It was incredible sweet. I remember stepping out of the canoe and going up to the campsite. And I remember there was no panic. People seemed to be very relaxed. Well, it's almost like he's under the influence of something, I think. All four men agreed they were out on the lake for less than 20 minutes. The huge bonfire should have burned for hours, and yet only coals remained, indicating the longer passage of time, Jack Weiner tells. The unusual thing is that we didn't stay up for hours and discuss this thing, which is what you'd think four young pals on camping trip would do. We just seemed very fit and wanted to go to bed. The next morning,
I don't know. See that? That's crazy. Hill Air Force Base is right over there. the sky. That's beautiful. That's like a reddish, like a maroonish violet. It's crazy. It's chilly. Welcome to a view from Clearfield, Layton. That sky. Isn't that crazy? Focus. Isn't that pretty? That's cool. That's the sunrise. Look at that sky. So made it. See the sky. So, looks weird over there. And then over there, it's like bluish, red. Oops. Cool. Take down the right window. Say hello to Anonymous, my passenger. See this guy? That's a lag. Is that right under me? That's so cool. The sky. Put everything in my bag. Gonna come get the turkey. Alright, well, thank you for watching my video and joining my live. I appreciate it.